scenes. And that's a German collection of, like, there are a couple of it. That's not just Naruto in there. There are a couple of manga in there that I have to be careful. I looked it up. They aren't worth anything, but they are they have a lot of worth to me, you know. So yeah, this is like it was a really cool feeling opening this box up and being flushed with memories. So I want to talk about some of these memories. But yeah, back then, I mean, I was very big into. I mean, I still love anime, you know, but I don't read as much manga anymore. You know, it's it got a bit less, and this is really just one example. I mean, I have like at least. I think there are like 40 or so of these back there. At least. Maybe, yeah, no, more. Way more. Hang on. Like, at least. Let me check. I didn't count them all, but at least 50. So, yeah, I sort of discovered it. How did I discover it? What was do I remember the first thing? I mean, I guess TV, I guess Dragon Ball, no, Pokemon, of course. Pokemon, no, maybe not, of course. Maybe there was something before that. Anyway, it was like a big rush of anime, you know, that was like, yeah, on the TV. I mean, I guess Pokemon, then Dragon Ball, stuff like that. And, yeah, I recently on my Substack was like a bit, you know, reflecting on Japanese culture, especially, you know, in relations to pornography, but also, I mean, or let's say erotica and stuff. I mean, yeah, I mean, everything that comes with it. And I was reminded that, yeah, my first encounter with like hot and spicy stuff was in there too. Let's see if I can find it. A tame example for YouTube, of course, and it's not explained like this was, you know, for kids, but I was a bit, you know, looking back. I mean, sometimes they are extremely violent. Oh my god, yeah, I remember this. This is where, I mean, this is incredible. This is where, is this where, oh yeah, this is, okay, this is where Naruto has a flashback about something of his father or something. This is graphic, you know. So yeah, this is like him being crucified, sort of, with his arms chopped off and stuff like this. Is, you know, this crazy emotional, you know, with him screaming in tears and he can't help him or his friend or whatever, and like that's crazy, you know. But I think, I mean, I loved that as a child. Yes, I mean, affected me. What does that mean? I felt it, you know. I think that's a good thing. I think the context is in there, you know. You see the tears in the reaction. You see sort of also is then in advance is sort of blind courage, you could say, resulting from that trauma, and all with like very carefully drawn lines. I love that. And also, like, yeah, sexual themes that were a bit like in this story. I don't remember how this is called. Let's see if I can. I'm sure I can find something sexy. But there's one story that's really like crazy, where, you know, with everything time travel and also like a lot of violence and stuff and dating and one episode is like his daughter travels back in time to make a child with him. Like that, that's so crazy. That was so crazy. Like there's this this dude that's sort of like a super. Oh man, I don't know what this is about anymore. But look, like this is this white. It's too white, right? But you get the idea. Like it's sexy, but it's crazy, At one point, really, that is what happens. Like his I remember that also, like, that was burned into my memory because I thought, like, whoa, that's crazy. But I mean, again, they played it like that. Of course, he rejected that, and he was fighting her off, really, like stumbling all over the place to escape his daughter from, like, I mean, many, not his daughter. I think a relative from. No, I guess it was his. I don't remember. It was definitely related. That made it like weird. And yeah, they sort of wanted to make like this superhero by, getting the perfect DNA or something. It was insane. But yeah, I think the context was there still. But they toyed with like these fantasies that were very out there and still are. And it was like, yeah, for kids. Or for, I think it was officially, you could read it with like, when you're like 12 or something. And I guess I was 10 or 11, so. But still, made me think about the cultural differences. And overall, even though I think, yeah, anime and the erotica around it can go too far, I think it's healthy that you show kids the whole range of emotions and talk about everything, like, yeah, include violence in your worlds or sex. I mean, to a certain degree, of course, in a certain way, and with enough context to lift it up. Like a good story can just be, trash. That's I think when I say, yeah, sex and stories and stuff, most people get a pornographic image, and that landscape is pretty, bad. It's not, by and large, it's not good. It doesn't mean that there's not good stuff to find, but by and large, it's really nasty and yeah, not attractive at all, and doesn't have to do with anything with the real, with making love, So, but okay, to get back to the point, I think it's healthy to challenge kids, like 12-year-olds. I mean, think back that, yes, from a perspective that it's easy as a grown-up to look back and look at them all, stupid kids. But if you spend some time with them, as I do in my job, it's apparent that no, they're eager to learn about the world, and I think we make a mistake by censoring everything, by sort of shielding them from the world, and holding blinders in front of them, and don't look at that, and we're sort of, I mean, in that process, we're sort of lying all the time. And how does that work if we want to prepare them for the real world? I think there are ways you can talk about pretty much any subject you want to a kid if you find the right words for that kid. So yeah, these stories aren't for every kid, and I'm not saying that, but like I like the cultural approach that they basically that's probably a good example of the ways. I mean, this genre of horror movies, games, and stuff. I mean, fantasy would be a good example too, but let's stick with horror because it's it's often it can disturb. But if it's a good horror movie or a good horror whatever, it tells you something. It goes deep, and you reflect on something you normally would have trouble with if it weren't for the safe language that the movie or this piece of art created. I think that's a great way, to engage with the really dark themes of life and nature, and to sort of get a handle on them to some degree. And I think it's if you try to shield kids, and also it doesn't work. I mean, the kids of today that I teach see way more shit, like really useless garbage on TikTok or Facebook or whatever. We shouldn't see that. Why are we chasing this censorship bullshit when we should actually grab the torch or whatever and see that as a challenge? Okay, we have to get better at teaching kids about this, because otherwise they're gonna fall into all of these pitfalls that technology is creating for them in this modern day and age of the internet and everything. I think, man, that was really well said. I surprised myself. No, but seriously, I believe that. I think it's so silly to, because I see that in so many areas, just what they're allowed to do on the playground even, I talked about this, pistol hands are not allowed, wrestling isn't allowed, like a bit of rough and tumble play amongst the boys. It's all like, they can't get too wet in the rain, they can't get too dirty in the mud, they can't get, don't put, like, they're not allowed to add water into the sand, what's it called? The sand pit, you know what I mean? Stuff like that, that's like really, because, then again they would get dirty. It's stuff like that it's so, what's going on, What's going on? It's one of those examples where I'm really struggling to, how is this real? How are we not seeing that that's making everything worse? It's sort of like this. I mean, there's this perfect analogy in Harry Potter, with in part 5, where the defense of the dark arts teacher is this bureaucratic nightmare of a woman, who's like who needs actual practice in dark arts. Just read the books, just practice. Oh, we don't talk about this. We don't talk about this. This is too dangerous. This is none of your concern. And so, well, if it's that dangerous, it should be of our concern. I mean, we, or otherwise we're defenseless against it. It's called defense against. That's what we need. We need a defense against the dark arts class in every school, and it should be. It should confront ideas, confront kids with darker ideas in the context of, with art. I think that's the best way. Kids cried when they saw Bambi for the first time, and I mean, you can talk about that. Maybe too. That example may be a bit emotionally manipulative and a bit too. I don't know. Like the evil. I don't know. I don't want to get. I didn't watch Bambi for a long time, but you can probably criticize that. But in any case, I think or Lion King is a better example. I remember that. I think seeing that and seeing, you know, the moment when Simba's father died, that was really impactful, you know. But it had the whole story then, you know, like the healing part or the sort of pushing it away part, you know, with Timon and Pumbaa, and just like the Hakuna Matata, which is, it has a place, but there at a certain point you have to confront it again. You have to, you know, look at it again. And I think, I think we're dragging this part out too much. Probably not just in schools, but just like, in general, you know, it can be tough to talk about these things and, well, also to make art about it. But that's a great call to arms, you know, for artists, I think. Nothing's off limits. I mean, except, you know, that's a bad mantra. You can make it tasteless and bad, and, you know, like not art. But I think there's a way you can really talk about everything with art if you're guided by, you know, whatever you want to call it, intuition, the universe, you know, whatever, your daemon, your god, you know, you get the idea. I don't want to put words in your mouth in this regard. I think you should discover them by yourself. So, this is where I'm gonna end